So I'm really sorry that I have not been very good at updating um, on time. It is almost the end of the semester, so there are a lot of books and research projects I have to read and prepare for final exams. And I'm not really sure how I feel about all that, but that is the circumstance. So I miss the theme of love stories, which is weird because I'm like the biggest romantic in the world. But I usually like the tragic love stories for some reason. Just happens to be how that goes. So I really love like the many loves of Edith Piaf, and I really love like 1984 and how they were so passionately in love, and then it was just like, oh, I guess not that in love. Or I don't know. Can't really say I wouldn't do the same in that situation. Can't really say I wouldn't. I don't know. But I think my favorite love story of all time though has to be my parents' love story. So there's two people from Mexico, both of them, and they meet in Los Angeles. And my mom is from Irapuato, and my dad is from León, and both of those places are in the state of Guanajuato in Mexico. And I was born in Guanajuato, by the way. So they both meet in LA, and they have like this cute little romance or whatever. And then my mom's kind of like, I have to go back to Mexico, even though my dad was here. And she's like, I'm gonna go, and I don't really expect you to come along with me, but like, if you do, that's cool. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you, dude. So, so he's just like, all right, I guess I'll go along with this. And they go to Mexico, and my dad is incredibly poor, like to the point where he's always been like embarrassed of like showing my mom where he lived because he lived like in the shack next to like a dumping ground, and he didn't have a dad or anything, and he kind of he wasn't like ashamed of these things because he was more just like embarrassed because my mom came from a much better home, and well, I wouldn't say better, but she had more money. She just had more money, but I don't know about better. And so I don't know. He was just really nice to her, and he was really kind. Always respected her. Didn't expect anything in return ever. He just really wanted to love her, and um, my mom knew that he was like a really good man, and she loved him a lot, and so they got married and whatever. And I guess to me, the beautiful part wasn't really like how they met or any of that. It was kind of like how they just stayed together despite the many mistakes that each one had made in the relationship. How they kind of just were together, and it wasn't because of me or my brother. It was just because they genuinely wanted to stay together. Um, they've made a lot of sacrifices together. They treat each other with an enormous amount of love and respect. Um, it's just a really good relationship, and I think what to me is like really beautiful. And I don't know how other people might feel about this, but I kind of grew up not from my parents, but just a general growing up outside environment type of thing where you have to be, afraid of the way that you look and keep up your appearances because if you don't work out, if you don't put on makeup, if you don't do your hair, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, then the person that you're with is always going to leave you for somebody younger and someone more beautiful. And after a while, they don't want to be with you because you don't look 20 anymore. Well, I'm not even 20 yet. I'm gonna be real. I'm 19, but I'm almost 20. But I don't want. I don't know. I guess it just gives me a little bit of hope that someday all of us will realize that if they only want us because we look young, then I don't think they ever really wanted us. And that's like a lesson that my dad kind of taught me when I was going through my eating disorders, that like anybody that loves you will love you whatever way you may be. Love is more, and it's completely beyond just the physical aspect of a person. And he said like I don't look 20 anymore, and your mom doesn't look like she's 20 anymore, but that doesn't mean that I need to love her less. The qualities that she has as a person are so much more than the way that she looks, and even then I still think she looks beautiful. And nothing in the world is ever going to change that. And I was just like, oh my god, that is so fucking beautiful, because I honestly do think that like my parents are never going to get divorced. I know that's kind of weird to say, but I don't, and that's not to say if they got divorced I would be mad, but it's just kind of beautiful. Like, you don't see that anymore. It's always like, oh, you need to look 20 or else they're not going to love you, and they don't have that. They're just together because they they just are, and they're always going to be together, and they're always going to love each other no matter how old they get, and no matter how the world changes. So I think my favorite love story is definitely my parents.